Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland, struggling against extreme odds, traveling dangerous trails, fighting the many enemies of nature. This is the job of the guardian of the forest, Ranger Bill. Pouring rain, freezing cold, blistering heat, snow, floods, bears, rattlesnakes, mountain lions. Yes, all this in exchange for the satisfaction and pride of a job well done. Say, have you ever been in an automobile accident? They can be pretty frightening. And on the spur of the moment, you might even get scared enough to want to run away. Never run away from the scene of an accident, no matter how bad the accident is. Why? Well, listen to the story of two boys, Reuben and Smitty, who had an accident with their hot rod. Only by hard work and fast thinking did Bill Jefferson save them from the angry citizens of Big Pine. That's a village about halfway between Knotty Pine and Canyon City. Here's the story, Hit and Run.
Cut it down, Smitty. Got to keep well within the limit.
Yeah, okay, Rube. You know, I don't know where folks get the idea that hot rod drivers are always speed demons.
Oh, that's because a couple of smart Alecs didn't use their heads. Going through town like a jet plane the way they did, and everybody's been sore ever since.
Well, I can't blame them exactly, can you?
No. Say, Smitty, we got to put the strobe light on this thing when we get back to the garage. It must be out of time again.
Yeah, you're right. It seems to be missing at high speeds.
Watch out, the street's narrow here, Smitty.
What's the matter with you, Rube? Getting the jitters or something?
No, it's just that the folks in town are so dead set against us. We wouldn't stand a chance if anything should... Look out! Look out for that man!
I think I hit him, Rube.
Yeah. Let's get out of here, quick.
You mean run?
Sure.
Okay, here goes.
Cut around him wide. That's right. Now take off.
Oh, Bill, how much farther we got?
Quite a ways, Ralph. Coming into Big Pine now.
That means we're halfway home.
Yep.
Gray Wolf and Stumpy are still sleeping. Guess I'll do the same. Hey, Bill, what's going on up here in the center of town?
I'm just wondering myself. Better wake up Stumpy and Gray Wolf. We'll find out.
Okay. Hey, Gray Wolf, Stumpy, come on, wake up. Come on, wake up.
Why we stop here, Ralph?
Well, something's going on in the street. Bill says we should take a look.
Hey, look at all the people.
Sounds like a riot starting.
You're not joking, Ralph. Lock the cars so no one can get our weapons. Come on, fellas, let's find out what this is all about.
Hey, they're the Rangers. Let them through.
Thanks for letting us through, folks. Where's Constable Gorman?
Right here, Bill.
Is he dead, Sid?
Yeah.
How'd it happen?
Well, I don't know, Bill. Some of the folks heard a car tearing down the street, and then they found poor old Sam here.
Yeah, it was one of those dirty hot rodders. That's what it was.
Ralph, get a blanket out of the car and cover the body, will you?
Sure. Let me through, please.
Blanket won't do Sam any good. Why don't you go after those rats that did this?
Yeah, that's the stuff.
That's what we gotta do.
Oh, look here, mister. We'll handle this our own way if you don't mind.
Guys.
Gray Wolf, Stumpy, let's clear the crowd off the street.
Not good idea. They only wipe out evidence when they walk around.
You haven't got enough Rangers to move us, mister.
There are 3 of us here and 1 at the radio car. That's enough. You seem to be the ringleader, mister, so I'm talking to you. If you don't stop making trouble, I'll arrest you for inciting mob violence and obstructing the work of law enforcement officers. I'll get a move on.
Back it in, Smitty, before somebody sees us.
Yeah. What do you think I'm trying to do, Rube? Just so scared I can't see straight. Look out now.
Yeah, okay. Come on back.
Well, that's that. Close the doors, Rube.
Yeah, right away, Smitty.
Now, why don't you go home, Rube? I hit the guy, not you.
We're in this mess together, aren't we?
Boy, I sure don't know where that fella came from. All I know is suddenly he's right in front of the car, and boom.
I know. Let's stay here for a while and think what we should do.
I know what we shouldn't have done.
Yeah? What?
We shouldn't have run away.
Maybe you're right. And I'm the guy that told you to do it. But we wouldn't have had a chance with some of those hotheads in town. But it's too late to think of that now.
Is it?
Sure it is. If I could only calm down and do some straight thinking.
We've got to think straight. It's our only chance.
The ambulance will be here shortly, Bill.
Thanks, Sid.
Did you find out anything?
Yeah, some very interesting things.
As soon as they take old Sam away, we can go into my office and talk this over.
Yeah, it's a good idea, Sonny. Something mighty fishy about this here accident.
Huh? Well, it's a clear case of hit and run, ain't it?
Not the way we see it, it ain't.
Is that right, Bill?
Well, there are some very peculiar factors in the case, Sid, that you don't find in the ordinary hit and run.
I hope you can prove your point. There's some ugly rumors around that the citizens of Big Pine are going to take the law into their own hands.
Well, Smitty, I found out who the man was we hit.
Yeah? Who is he?
Sam Potter.
Sam Potter. Oh, no.
I found out something else.
What?
He's dead.
You mean it was our car?
Must have been. They found him dead on the street.
I can't figure it, Rube.
Neither can I, Smitty. But we killed him just the same.
Do you think we better give ourselves up?
Smitty, we can't do that. The townspeople would lynch us.
Well, Bill, how does the evidence stack up?
Let's start with the tire marks, Sid. We measured the short skid marks, and they tell us the car was going between 20 and 25 miles an hour.
20 miles? Mm-hmm. How could there be skid marks at that speed?
Well, the brakes were in excellent condition, and the driver slammed them on hard. The marks aren't prominent, but they're there just the same.
They're even more important point about skid. Tell him, Bill.
I'm just getting to that, Grey Wolf. Another reason the car skidded as it did is that the tires were bald. Makes skidding easier.
What kind of a car would have bald tires? It ain't safe for a regular car to have them.
But hot rod have bald tires in some cases.
Hot rod? That would make matters worse for whoever hit Sam.
What do you mean, Sid?
Why, a large portion of the population of Big Pine is made up of only half a dozen families, intermarriage and so forth. Sam Potter was recognized as the leader in the town.
I see. That's why the folks here were so angry. I sensed more than just the usual anger and disgust over a hit-and-run case.
Not only that, Bill. These folks are very prejudiced against hot rods.
Well, most people are, Sid. It's the hot rodder's own fault.
Well, we just got to keep ahead of them, that's all, and ask for patience.
How do we do that, Bill?
By finding the driver of that car before they do.
Where we start to find driver, Bill?
Well, the first thing I want to do is take Sam's outer clothing to the lab and have them gone over for paint fragments. Grey Wolf, you and Ralph get a list of all the lads who own or drive hot rods. And Stumpy, you stay here and help Sid keep things under control.
Say, Stumpy, let's stop in here at Ben's store and have a cup of coffee. A lot of the folks just sit around there and talk.
Yeah, that's for us, Sid. Maybe we can get an idea what they're thinking about in this here accident. Yeah, seems to be quite a crowd in the store.
Yeah, and I don't like it.
Well, Sonny, let's go on in. There's only one way to catch a polecat. Go in after him.
Hey, fellas. Here's Sid.
Yeah. He's got a ranger with him, I see.
He's just an old guy. He can't do any harm.
Oh, just a minute there, youngster. I was putting three-cornered pants on grizzly bears before you were born. You step up here, I'll show you how old I am.
Okay, Pop. I take it all back.
Hey, Sid. You find out who did it yet?
No, but the Rangers think a hot rod may have hit him.
You shouldn't have said that, Sonny.
You're telling me. Too late now.
Let's grab those hot rodders and let's get them one by one.
Yeah, let's get started on this manhunt, boys. I know the first place to go.
All right, let's go.
Get on it.
I guess I'm not the peace officer I ought to be. Didn't even try and stop him.
Yeah, don't talk foolish, Sonny. There's some things you can do and some things you can't. Let's get a shooting iron and follow those men. And call Bill while we're at it. And listen, if we'd have got beat up, we wouldn't have been able to help anybody.
Hello, University Lab.
Bill Jefferson there?
Just a minute. Bill, it's for you.
Thanks, Pat. Hello, Bill Jefferson speaking.
Bill, this is Sid Gorman. You'd better get over here right away.
What's happened?
Oh, I let it slip out accidentally that you thought the hit-and-run driver was a hot rod. Now the men of the town have taken matters into their own hands. They're going after all the lads who own hot rods.
That's bad. Well, I'll get over there as fast as I can, Sid. You stay at the office and have Stumpy follow the mob. Tell him to call in and let you know where he is.
Okay, Bill.
Oh, one more thing, Sid. Try and get hold of Grey Wolf and Ralph and any other rangers you can. I'll see you soon.
Something unexpected, Bill?
Not unexpected, Pat. Just came sooner than I thought it would. Phone me at the constable's office in Big Pine when you get through going over the clothes, will you?
Quiet, you guys. Quiet. Quiet down. We gotta find out some things. Is this your hot rod, kid?
Yeah, it belongs to me and Smitty.
Have you been driving a car recently?
Hey.
Huh?
Here's a piece of Sam's coat cut in the license plate.
Quiet down. Quiet. Did you two kids run down Sam Potter? Answer me, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Who was driving?
Me.
So you're the guilty ones. You ran away, didn't you?
You did run away, didn't you? You dirty hit and run.
That's right.
Yeah, let's take them away before the law gets here. We didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
Accident, my eye. Let's get a barrel of tar and some feathers.
I got some. We'll take care of these kids our way.
Okay, let's go. Come on, let's get them. Let's go.
Here's the Rangers.
All right. Release those boys.
We ain't doing it, Copper. They're guilty. This time we're doing things our
Who
way.
appointed you as judge? How do you know they're guilty? Release them, I said.
You make me.
All right, I will.
Hold it there, boys. Don't make me shoot. I can gouge the eye out of a June bug at 1,000 yards. Don't make me prove it, I'm warning you.
Thanks, Stumpy. Now listen, you people. These kids are going to get justice. If they're guilty, they'll be punished. If they're not guilty, they'll go free. That's for the law to decide. Tom, take these two boys over to the jail and lock them up for their own protection. And stay there with Shorty and Ned and guard the jail. We'll keep these men here until you're safely away.
Okay, Bill. Come on, Lance. Let's go to the car.
Hey, you in the back. Don't try and sneak off.
That's right. Everybody stays here until the car leaves. All right, you can disperse now.
You fellas, go on home. Behave yourselves. One peep, and we'll need a jail stretcher.
Phew. Huh. That was a close one, Bill. We got here just in the nick of time.
I'll say we did, Ralph. This isn't the end of it either.
I think you're right, Bill. Those men plenty mad. You think they try and break into jail?
Well, they wouldn't try that in this day and age, would they?
Sounds ridiculous, I know, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if they did.
Now, let's go back to the jail and talk with the boys. See what's what.
First, let's take a look at the hot rod, Sid. We'll be back at the jail before the mob gets rebellious enough to try to break in. Now, Rube, Smitty, suppose you tell us just how it happened.
I was driving, Bill. I'm the guilty one, not Rube.
But I told him to drive away. I'm the most to blame.
All right, take it easy, fellas. All I want to know is what happened. And don't worry about the mob. They won't get you, believe me.
Okay, Bill. All I can say is that we were driving down the street. Couldn't have been more than 25 miles an hour at the most. And suddenly, the old man was in front of us. We couldn't stop.
Man, we hit the brakes. It didn't do any good. I still can't figure where he came from. Only, all of a sudden, he was right there. And that's all there is to it, Bill. Now, I know we did wrong by running away, but we were...
All right, Smitty, that's what I wanted to know. And I believe you.
We wouldn't lie, Bill. Not even when we were in a jam.
Now, look, fellas. I want you to know that I didn't lock you up because I thought you were guilty of killing Sam Potter. I did it for your own protection.
They were going to tar and feather us.
Don't you worry about those men. I'll take care of them.
Bill, you better come out front. We got trouble again.
Tom, Shorty, Ned, you fellas guard the rear of the jail, will ya?
Right. Come on, boys.
Bill, I'm sure glad you and your men are here. I've never seen anything like this.
Don't fret none, Sonny. You're in good hands. They don't scare us none.
This has always been such a peaceful town.
Perhaps that's why they've let themselves get carried away.
They feel they have right to mete out justice, but they wrong.
Here they come. With a battering ram, it sounds like.
You said it, Ralph. They mean business.
And so do I. Open the door, Sid.
Did you say open the door, Bill?
That's right. I'll be in the doorway and let them try to get past.
Okay, Bill. You're calling the signals.
Yeah, let's go. What do you got now? Yeah. Here.
All right, quiet. Quiet, you people. Now, you men, listen to me. Unless you go home and behave yourselves, I'm taking Rube and Smitty to the Knotty Pine jail.
You'll never make it, Ranger.
I'll make it all right, mister. Even if I have to use a tank. Now, either you disperse and go home, or I'll take drastic steps to make you.
How do we know justice will be given to those two hot...
Yeah, how do we know that?
You have my word for it.
His word. That's a good one.
Yes, it is a good one. Because it's a promise not only as an officer of the law, but as a Christian.
You're a Christian, Ranger?
That's right.
You can believe Bill Jefferson. He's never gone back on his word in all the years I've known him.
All right. That's good enough for me. Let's go home, men.
When's the inquest going to be held?
I haven't talked with the coroner yet. The day and time will be posted.
Okay. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going home.
Okay, George.
Stumpy, for a minute I thought we were going to have a shooting brawl on our hands.
Well, we can shoot if we have to, Sonny, but we learned a long time ago that God is a lot more powerful than anything we can do.
what you hope to prove by reenacting accident.
I'm not sure yet, Grey Wolf. I have a couple of points in mind. Well, they're coming in close now. Be ready to push that stuffed dummy in front of the car when I give you the word.
Hot rod almost here.
All right, now. Okay, Smitty. That was just what I wanted.
That's just how I stopped, Bill. It all happened so fast, but I'm sure that's just as near as I can come to what actually happened.
That's fine, Smitty. Thanks a lot. Grey Wolf, you escort the boys back to their garage and return them to jail. Ralph and I are going to Knotty Pine to see the coroner.
Bill, what's your honest opinion about this case?
Not quite ready to make a statement yet, Rudy. I need one more piece to finish the jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
A court order for a post-mortem on Sam Potter's body.
Do you think it will show something?
I don't know, Rudy. That's why I'm asking for it.
All right, Bill. I'll sign the order.
Well, here's the place, Ralph.
Bill, how'd you find out Jim Land was Sam Potter's doctor?
Sid told me. Hello, Jim.
Well, Bill Jefferson has a live and breathe. And Ralph Mitchell.
Hello, Dr. Land.
Well, come in, don't just stand there.
I'm sorry, Jim, but I got a lot to do.
Busy, huh? Hey, what's that piece of paper you got there, Bill?
Court order for a post-mortem on Sam Potter's body.
Oh, you won't need that.
You mean?
Yeah, I'll testify at the inquest, gladly.
Oh, fine. I'll call you to the witness stand first thing. Thanks a lot, Jim. Bye. To determine the means by which Samuel Potter met his death. Coroner Rudolph Gordon presiding for the county of Canyon and the village of Big Pine. Spectators will not make comment, pro or con, as the principals involved are interrogated. Coroner Gordon.
As coroner, I'm setting aside the usual practice, and I'm asking Ranger Bill Jefferson to present the salient facts in the case. All right? Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Coroner. First, I'd like Dr. James Land to take the stand, please. Dr. Land, you've been attending the deceased for some years because of a physical ailment. Is that right?
That is correct.
What was the physical impairment?
Heart disease, angina.
Jim, I served you with a court order to make a post-mortem on the deceased Sam Potter. Why did you say it wouldn't be necessary, since the order was in conjunction with this inquest?
Because, Bill, I already knew how Sam Potter died.
How did Sam Potter die, Jim?
He died from a heart attack.
If the spectators will not come to order right now, I'll clear the inquiry room. Well, if this uproar occurs again, I'll have the Rangers clear the room. All right. Proceed, Bill.
Thank you, Rudy. Dr. Land, how did you come to this conclusion?
I warned Sam to take it easy because his condition was getting worse. He wouldn't listen. When I heard about the accident, I went to the undertaker and looked at Sam's body. That was clear and positive symptoms of heart attack, despite the bruises.
Well, will you sign the death certificate as you've stated? Cause of death, heart attack, coronary insufficiency?
Certainly. That's what killed Sam, and that's what I'll put on the certificate.
Thank you, Jim. You may leave the stand. Now, I call to the stand Ranger Bill Jefferson, the arresting officer. Bill, I want you to explain what you found out regarding this case.
All right. As you can see, I have drawn on this blackboard a diagram of the scene of the accident.
We know that the car was traveling between 20 and 25 miles an hour. That fact has been very carefully checked. The victim was here at the X mark. The car didn't have time to stop and avoid hitting the victim. However, Smitty's reflexes are rapid. Upon seeing Sam in front of him, he applied the brakes instantly. It's a fact that the car was going only 5 miles an hour when it hit the victim. There's no dent in the fenders or grill of the car, nor are there any paint fragments in the clothes. Sam was hit in midair by the car bumper as he toppled right into the path of the oncoming vehicle.
Now I remember, Bill. That's the way it was. He didn't exactly fall. He sort of toppled.
I've presented the evidence to an unbiased mind, which proves beyond a reasonable doubt that Sam's death was accidental. This concludes my presentation.
Then if Rube and Smitty didn't kill him, they ought to be punished for running from the scene of the accident.
I'm not making excuses for that, except that they're only boys and that they were frightened. But how about you, mister?
Me?
You should know better, have been inciting riot and mob violence, obstructing justice, and invading the right of privacy. Did you have a search warrant when you broke into Smitty's garage and examined his car?
No, I didn't. I apologize. I made a mistake.
So did Rube and Smitty when they hit and ran. They've learned their lesson. And thanks to you, I'm sure they'll have nightmares about it for a long time.
Take it easy, Bill. As coroner of this county, I have heard the evidence and do now pronounce Sam Potter's death as being from natural causes, not because he was hit by the automobile driven by these two boys. I also waive any punishment recommendation to the court because the boys ran away, since I'm sure they've learned their lesson. This inquiry is concluded and adjourned.
We sure owe you a lot, Bill. You were great on the stand. I'll never forget you or the lesson we've learned.
I owe you the most thanks because I drove the car. Oh, boy. What a load you've lifted from my shoulders, Bill. I'll never forget the lesson you've taught us either.
And what is that lesson, fellas? It's just this. Never run when you're in trouble, no matter how bad the circumstantial evidence. In this country, you're innocent until you're proved guilty.
Well, I was just as startled as you were when Bill presented the truth. But it was the truth, and that's what really counts. We'll see you next week for more adventure with Ranger Bill! Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland, struggling against extreme odds, traveling dangerous trails, fighting the many enemies of nature. This is the job of the guardian of the forest, Ranger Bill. Pouring rain, freezing cold, blistering heat, snow, floods, bears, rattlesnakes, mountain lions. Yes, all this in exchange for the satisfaction and pride of a job well done.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Ranger Bill. Have you ever had your heart set on getting something and then was disappointed because someone else received it? By all rights, you should have gotten it, but somehow it was the other fellow who was given the break. How did you act in that situation? Did you take it gracefully, realizing that all things work together for good to those who love God? Or did you spunk up and act as though you never knew what Christian behavior really was? Well, this is exactly what happened to Ranger Ralph, who was due for a promotion when the next opening came along. But wait a minute. First thing you know, I'll be telling you the whole story. Here it is. Next in line.
Hi, Ralph. How are you?
Anything of earth-shaking importance take place while we were gone, Ralph?
No, nothing happened, Stumpy. Everything quiet. Oh, Bill, a letter came for you from Colonel Anders. Put it on your desk blotter. I thought it might be important.
Thanks, Ralph.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that you fellows are back, I'll run along home.
Okay, see you in the morning.
Right. So long, fellas.
Bye, Ralph.
Hello, Ralph.
From the size of that, looks like the Colonel threw the book at you, Bill.
Well, what's it say?
Everybody quiet. Genius at work.
Henry, you full of monkey business today.
Well, okay, it's probably a good thing Ralph left when he did.
What do you mean?
What meal?
Andy Thompson from the Mid-Central District is retiring the 1st of June. And Gil Zodkin from the Pennsylvania Eastern District is coming out here to fill the vacancy.
Gil Zodkin.
Uh-oh. Ralph's going to be mad about that. By whose orders, Bill?
A man in Washington, I assume. Colonel Anders says his hands are tied by a top-level directive on both transfer and promotion.
Woo! Ralph's liable to blow a fuse over this. He's the next in line, isn't he, Bill?
Yes, he is, old-timer.
Well, how do you like that? We're being invaded by a new boss ranger. There's going to be some fancy fireworks when this gets out.
One thing. You fellas keep this under your hat until I have a talk with all our men in the morning. Okay, fellas. Let's quiet down. I've just received a letter from Colonel Anders relative to some personnel changes. As most of you know, Andy Thompson is close to retirement. The date is June 1st. There's a ranger from the Pennsylvania Eastern District assigned to take Andy's place. This man's name is Gil Zodkin. Now, Colonel Anders wants him to visit us for a while to get an idea how we work out here. As you know, our method of operation is somewhat different. The Colonel would like Gil to actually run things for a while under my supervision. This will be like a training course for him. He'll arrive day after tomorrow. That's it, men.
Well, I wish I were a mind reader right now, Stumpy.
Yeah, you and me both, sonny. Boys, you're unhappy.
Bill, may I ask a question?
Sure. Go ahead, Tom.
What's happened to the rule of promotion by seniority? Has it been junked?
Not as far as I know, Tom.
Then whose bright idea is this? Colonel Anders?
No, Ed, it isn't his idea. The orders came from him, but he wrote and told me that he's guided by a top-level directive.
Bill,
Yes, Ralph?
this looks to me like a fellow doesn't have a chance to get ahead by hard work.
Well,
It's who you know, not what you know. I was to get the next promotion. Everyone knows it. And either I get it or I quit.
That's right. I thought the Forest Service was one place where influence didn't count.
Yeah, that's right.
Why should we train this new boss? Let him find out for himself.
Yeah, like all of us did, including yourself, Bill.
fellas, I can understand how you feel about this. However, I'm just following orders like you. Yes, I have a few questions myself on this issue, and I intend to find out the facts. When I do, those facts will be passed on to you. In the meantime, I think the less said, the better, till we've all had time to settle down and think this whole thing over and cool off.
There isn't going to be any cooling off, as far as I'm concerned, Bill. You'd better tell those big wheels they're going to be missing some rangers unless this is straightened out pronto.
That's right, Ralph. Well, back into the house.
You got that report finished, Henry?
Right now, Bill. You know, Bill, I can't get over the strong reaction that news from the colonel got out of the fellas. I've never seen them act that way before. Ralph didn't even come in after lunch, and he always does.
Well, I sent him out on the trail for today, at least, Henry. Maybe you'll think differently about things out there.
Yeah, take it from me, fellers. There's a lot to this thing. More than meets the eye.
But plenty right, Stumpy. More than just facts that Ralph not get promotion.
I don't follow you. I was under the impression that all the fellas are angry because Ralph didn't get promoted since he's the next in line.
Well, that's all very true, pal. The hidden part of it is that all the rest of the men put themselves in Ralph's shoes.
Oh, you mean they're all saying to themselves, why should we work hard for so many years only to lose out in the end?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. There's some reason why the Central Office is doing this. I don't think they should hold it back. It's not good psychology. You know, this is the sort of thing that shatters a man's dreams, his ambition. We all work for more than dollar wages. We work for prestige, importance, authority, reputation. Take those away, and dollar wages don't mean much because a man's unhappy.
What do you think can be done about this? Maybe Colonel Andrews cleared up? What you plan to do, Bill?
I can't do a thing right at the moment. I'm as much in the dark as you fellas. And from Colonel Andrews' letter, it's plain that he's in the same boat. I think the best thing to do is wait and see what happens.
There's a ranger standing over there, Bill.
That must be the fella, Henry. Let's walk over and meet him. Help him with his bangs.
He fine-looking man. Clean cut.
Yep. Looks like he's got something under his hat besides hair.
Hey, he sees us.
Hello there. You Gil Zadkin?
Yes, I am. You're Bill Jefferson?
That's right, Gil. Shake. Now, these are my assistants, Gray Wolf and Stumpy Jenkins. My friend, Henry Scott.
Hi, fellas.
How do you do, Mr. Zadkin?
Here, let us help you with your bags, Gil. We'll get over to headquarters.
That'll be fine. I appreciate your meeting me, Bill. It always helps in a strange place.
Well, it won't be strange for long, Gil. You know your way around in a couple of weeks.
Mark that 10 and 6, Ed.
Okay, Ralph. Well, the new boss ranger must be here. There goes the 9-5.
Hey, there's the train. We got visitors.
Visitors. I'd just as soon punch that guy in the nose as look at him.
Now, wait a minute, Tom. That won't get us anywhere. Remember, we've got to behave ourselves, if only out of respect to Bill.
That's right, Tom. Bill's the best boss ranger on 2 feet. We don't want to hurt him if we can help it.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to know is, how are you going to fight this, Ralph? All the fellas are pulling for you, 100%.
That's right. What you say goes, Ralph. Nobody in a big fat office a long ways from here is going to gyp you of your rights. If they do it to you, they'll do it to all of us.
Yeah, I know that. Let's bide our time, fellas. Wait and see what happens.
Well, this ends the guided tour of headquarters, Gil. No charge, of course.
Well, there should be, the way you took me around. You fellas have a very impressive layout here. I should think you're ready for everything and anything.
This largest district in country. Plenty ground to cover.
I'm glad you said that, Gray Wolf. Bill, may I have a look at your maps?
You beat me to the draw, Gil. That's next on the list.
Let's see. How many maps have you got here on your rack, Bill?
10 altogether.
You used them all?
You see, we carry all the maps, so if we get lost following one, we can use the other 9 and hope to find a way again.
Yeah.
Stumpy, you have quite a sense of humor. Quite enjoyable.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that, Gil. He'll drive you to distraction now with his corny jokes.
You see here, Henry. You laugh almost as hard as I do at my own jokes. You know it.
Better take it easy, fellas. I'd like to get through showing Gil around so he can meet the men in the morning and start working on the trail with them.
Let's have it quiet, fellas. There's no need for me to point out to you who Gil Zadkin is, since that's very obvious. Now, Gil isn't going to remember all your names, at first anyway. So I'll just introduce him to the 3 senior men. Then he'll meet the rest of you as he works along. Come on along, Gil. Gil, this is Tom Allen.
Hello. Hello, Tom.
And, Gil, this is Ed Freeberg.
Howdy.
I'm glad to meet you, Ed.
And this big hulking fellow's Ralph.
So you're the new boss ranger, huh?
Well, not exactly yet, Ralph.
You can meet the rest of the fellas in a few minutes, Gil. Men, I want you to extend every courtesy to Gil as you would to me. In a few days, he'll be out on the trail, working with you as your boss. This is only temporary, of course. It's kind of training ground for Gil, so he can find out our problems firsthand and benefit from experiences with us when he leaves for his new post. But when Gil gives an order, it's the same as though I gave it. Is that understood?
Yeah.
Fine. And now I want you fellas to get acquainted with Gil. We'll be making a trail inspection first thing Monday morning.
You've got a fine group of rangers under your command, Bill.
Thanks, Gil. You'll find that they're well-seasoned veterans. Cool as cucumbers in the face of any emergency.
I could feel that. It's the impression you get from men who've been through a lot. Well, now if you'll excuse me, I've got to mail some letters. Also take a stroll around town on my own. So long, fellas.
Yeah,
So long, Gil. See ya.
Boy, talk about a refrigerator. Ralph, Ed, and Tom really were cold, weren't they?
You said it, young feller. The ice was a foot thick. The rest of the men weren't so bad, though.
I think whole thing come off better than expected, in spite of bad feelings.
Yeah, I agree, Grey Wolf. No comment, Bill?
Oh, I don't know what to say, fellas. I'm a little angry with our senior men. They know better than to act that way. I'm sure Gil felt it. That's why I wanted to take a walk. Sort of think things over.
Can you blame fellows too much, Bill?
Well, no, Grey Wolf, I can't. They have a point, all right. But that still doesn't excuse them for not acting more friendly to Gil.
Well, what do you think of him, Ralph?
Oh, I don't know. Seems like a nice enough fella, but I don't know. Think he's got any more on the ball than anybody else. Why should he get my promotion?
You're right, Ralph. I can't understand why they're breaking the seniority system in the Western Division. Personally, I think we ought to give the guy a bad time. Let the higher-ups know where we stand.
Yeah, well, what about Bill's orders? We don't want to hurt him if we can help it.
No, we don't have to stage a rebellion or anything like that. What I mean is heckle Gil in little ways. He'll only be here for a short while. Bill wants him to get experience. So that's just what we'll give him, huh, Ralph?
Yeah, that's the general idea, Ed. Let him know just how we operate. You fellas follow my cues. Pass the word to the boys to sort of goof things up for Gil. You know, nothing drastic, but good. Understand?
Sure. We'll call it his initiation into the Western Division.
Yeah.
Henry will take you out to where Ralph's working with the trail crews, Gil.
Good idea, Bill. I'd probably end up 10 miles off base myself. This will save time.
You got everything you need?
I think so.
If you want anything from here, have one of the fire tower boys call in, or else use the trail crew radio.
No, I'll do that, Bill. Should be back in 3 days.
Right. Don't forget to make out your daily reports. Okay, better get going.
Yeah, so long.
So long, Gil.
I'll be back as soon as I can, Bill.
Hey, get up there!
Ed, what's the matter with the men? Those stumps aren't regulation.
What do you mean they're not regulation? Men are cutting them off 2 feet from the ground, aren't they?
2-foot stumps aren't regulation, Ed, and you know it. We have trees back east, you know. Tell the men to get back over there and cut them over. Stop wasting the government's time. 1.5 feet this time, and be sure they keep them all that low.
1.5 feet? What are we making? A lawn?
Hey, Lefty! Yeah, what's the matter, Gil?
How wide are you plowing this fire lane?
Well, 75 feet. Why?
Why? What do you mean, why? You should know it's 90 feet.
Huh? Oh, okay, so I made a mistake. I'll make it as wide as you want it.
Ralph, when are the grazing permits report due in?
I think they're supposed to be in now, Gil.
What? Let me look at the schedule again. I haven't got it all down yet. Let's see. Tree plantings, wildlife diseases, flood control. Here it is. You're right, Ralph. They're doing today.
Well, they won't be.
You mean you haven't got them ready?
Nope.
Well, why? You knew they were due, didn't you?
I've got other things to do than make out reports.
How soon do you think you'll have them finished?
A couple of days.
Couple of days? Can't you
If
understand?
that doesn't satisfy you, you can do them yourself.
You want to see me, Bill?
Yes, Gil. Sit down, will you? Gil, I've just got the grazing permits report this morning. Some things I wanted to ask you about. Footbridge over Otter Creek had to be torn down and rebuilt. Fire lanes were plowed wrong, had to be corrected. Signs warning tourists not to pester the bears aren't up yet. Guardrail on the trail Dead Man's Gorge only half completed. So on. How about it?
I guess I'm not cut out to be a boss ranger, Bill.
Nonsense, Gil. You wouldn't have been sent here for training if somebody didn't think you had it in you.
Why didn't Washington wait until Andy Thompson retired and then send me right into my new job?
That might be disastrous for you and the forest, Gil. If I were transferred to the Eastern Division, I'd want them to train me the way they're training you.
Oh, you're right. But running a forest out here is different in lots of ways than it is in the East. You have different problems here. Believe me, I've learned a lot this past week.
Glad to hear that, Gil. However, you haven't learned how to handle men. Gil, how would you handle this personnel problem if it happened when you take over Andy's district? That's why you're here, to give you training as a boss, not as a ranger necessarily. When you go to your new assignment, you got to be ready for anything.
Oh, what do you suggest I do?
Gil, my men are testing you, just as they did me when I first took over. Call their bluff. Don't let them push you around. Meet them face to face and talk straight from the shoulder. You'll have senior men in your new command.
All right. I'll take your advice. Thanks, Bill. Fellas, I've called you together to tell you that I've just been raked over the coals for not getting the job done either right or on time.
What's that got to do with us, Gil?
Plenty, Ralph. I know you're giving me the business. Let's call it testing.
What if we are? Can't you take it?
Yeah, Tom, I can take it. As long as your testing doesn't interfere with the job. We're here to get certain things done, and from now on, they're going to be done, or I'll know the reason why. Test me all you want. That's all right with me, as long as we get the job done. All these little errors and failures have got to stop, and stop right now. Okay. It's your turn to talk.
Okay, Gil. We'll take the heat off.
Yeah, let's give Gil a break, fellas.
All right. Say, Sonny, have you noticed something? By the way of things, Gil's got the boys moving right along.
Yes, old-timer. I think Gil's finally got the man under control. They pushed him around for a while, but they've been called on it. Maybe the battle's over.
You think Ralph and the fellas have gotten over their resentment?
I hope so, pal. Resentment can eat at a man's spirit like a cancer. He hardly realizes it.
Yeah, but other people realize it plenty quick.
Not true enough. Time will tell if fellows get over this.
Well, Gil's called their bluff. He has the control. Chances are that now they'll try and get that control away from him. Henry, have those reports arrived yet?
No, Bill, they haven't.
Just what I thought.
What do you mean? How would you know? You took Storm out for a fast run early this morning.
That's right, and I did that for a reason, pal.
Hey, you're angry.
Yes, I am. Get Ralph on the radio, will you? Tell him I want to see him at once. Hello, Ralph.
Hello, Bill. You wanted to see me?
Ralph, what's wrong?
What do you mean, what's wrong? Look, you know as well as I do, the fella hasn't got what it takes.
That isn't what I'm talking about, Ralph. I want to know what's wrong with you.
Me?
Yes, you. I mean, deep inside. Ralph, we've been friends going on 5 years. You're not only a ranger under my supervision, but a personal friend. I know you like a book. You're not acting like your old self. Ralph, you're a strong Christian. But it's my guess you've fallen into the trap of Satan.
I don't think my spiritual life is any of your business, Bill.
But what you do for the U.S. government is my business. You're next in line for promotion, Ralph.
You mean I was next in line for promotion?
However, with your present attitude, if an opening did come up, I wouldn't even recommend you for promotion.
You wouldn't, eh? Showing your friendship, I suppose, huh?
That's just why I wouldn't recommend you. Because I am your friend. Ralph, let's face it. You're filled with bitterness and resentment. Things haven't gone just the way you wanted it, so you're spunking.
Is that so? What is this? You're giving me a sermon?
No, Ralph, I'm not giving you a sermon. I'm talking straight from the shoulder about the terrific change for the worse that's come over you since Gil arrived. You've got to realize that we can't always have things our own way. Remember the lesson God taught Job?
Job? Yeah, there's a lesson you and the big guns over you need to be taught. You can't push senior men around.
God, he belongs to you. Deal with him as you would a son. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hey, Bill, phone's ringing.
Huh? Oh, I'll get it, Henry.
Boy, the way it's ringing, something must have happened.
Hello, Bill Jefferson speaking.
Bill, this is Ralph. I'm sorry I woke you up.
That's all right. What's wrong, Ralph?
Me. I know it's an unearthly hour, but can I talk to you? I mean, as soon as I can get to your house.
Well, of course, Ralph. Right over. I'll be waiting for you. Bye.
Bill, I had to come to see you. God has been giving me a terrible whipping. I'm terribly sorry for what I've done and the way I've acted. Everything you said to me is true. I knew I was guilty. That's why I was so mean. The Lord wouldn't let me sleep until I came over here and apologized.
I accept your apologies, Ralph. Believe me, I understand how you feel. Maybe I would have felt the same way if I'd been in your shoes.
Thanks, Bill. You're a real friend in every sense of the word.
Thanks, Ralph.
And you can still help me, Bill. if you will.
Gladly. Just name it.
I'd like you to pray with me and ask the Lord to take the resentment out of my heart and put love and patience there. I want the Lord to give the patience that Job had.
Ralph, why are the fellas gathered around? They're supposed to be out working.
I called them in, Gil. There's something I want to say to you in front of them, if you'll let me.
Okay. What is it?
Well, Gil, the first thing I want to do is apologize for the things I've done to you and the way I've acted since you came on the job. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I'm the one who's been ringleading the special treatment you've been getting. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I must say anyway that I'm terribly sorry, and please accept my apologies. For the rest of your stay with us, you'll have my wholehearted cooperation, and I'll help you as much as I can.
Ralph, I appreciate what you've just done more than you know. It took a lot of courage. I most certainly will forgive you and accept your apology.
Thanks, Gil. Okay, fellas, let's get with it. Do the job we're supposed to do.
Well, Gil, I must say you done a fine job. Won a tough battle. Good for you.
Thanks, Bill. It's been a terrific experience. I've learned a whale of a lot about supervising men. To give credit where credit is due, Ralph, Tom, Ned, and all the rest of the men have been an invaluable help in showing me the special problems you have out here.
Well, that's fine. Very happy it turned out the way it did.
You leave us in the morning for a new job. That right, Gil?
Yes, Grey Wolf, that's right. I'm sorry to have to leave you fellas, but, well, orders are orders.
Oh, you won't be so far away, Gil.
That's right, Sonny. We'll be working together.
Oh, hi, Ralph.
Hi, Ralph.
Hi, fellas. I'm sorry you have to leave us, Gil.
Thanks, Ralph. I'll be around to see you as often as I can.
I'm afraid Ralph won't be here then, Gil.
What's that, Bill?
What do you mean, Bill?
Ralph, here are new orders for you.
What? Well, what kind of orders?
Read them. They just came through.
Fellas, I've been promoted to take over the Southern District. Louis Hampton's going to division headquarters, and I'm taking his place. Oh, it sounds almost too good to be true.
It is true, Ralph. So you see, you really are next in line. Well, you can see, boys and girls, it never pays to jump to conclusions and think you've got all the answers. And in being bitter and resentful because things don't happen the way you'd like them to, you're only hurting yourself. Because the Lord may have bigger and better things planned for you. Well, see you next week for more adventure with
Ranger Bill! Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland.
Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland, struggling against extreme odds, traveling dangerous trails, fighting the many enemies of nature. This is the job of the guardian of the forest, Ranger Bill. Pouring rain, freezing cold, blistering heat, snow, floods, bears, rattlesnakes, mountain lions. Yes, all this in exchange for the satisfaction and pride of a job well done. Boys and girls, what would you do if a king cobra got out of its cage and escaped, and you were responsible? How would you go about capturing this deadly reptile, a bite from whose fangs means sure death, more deadly than the fer-de-lance or the bushmaster of South America? A king cobra has enough poison in one injection of venom to kill 500 men. Listen for the story as Bill and his rangers go looking for 12 feet of danger Our story opens as Paul Pearson, young son of Thad Pearson, director of the Logan County Zoological Gardens, amuses himself by playing idly with a baby boa constrictor. He watches fascinated as the writhing creature slithers across the floor of the snake house. Just as the door opens, George Hill, a longtime head keeper of the zoo, enters.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, George.
I see you're playing with a baby boy again. You'd better be careful, son. That fella's going to gain strength pretty fast in the next couple of months.
I'll watch him. If I feel he's getting too strong for me, I'll quit playing with him.
Well, I don't like you to play with snakes at all. Someday you might make a mistake, and it would be too late.
Oh, I'll be all right. Besides, Dad says it's all right as long as I don't go near the dangerous ones.
I know what your dad said. But you know how I got this crippled left hand of mine?
Sure. You got it from snake bites. 4 of them.
That's right. It's only by the Lord's power that I ever pulled through. Now, you go on, Paul. I've got to feed those killers today, and I don't want you here when I open the cages up.
All right, George, but I'd like to help feed them if you let me.
When you get a little older, son, I can't take any chances now. It'll be too late after you got bit.
Hello there, son. Back so soon from the snake house?
Yeah, Dad.
What's the matter, Paul? You're acting rather down in the mouth.
Oh, nothing. George says that baby boa is going to be too strong for me to play with pretty soon.
That's right, Paul. That what's bothering you?
No, not exactly.
Uh-huh. Something is bothering you, son. Come on, out with it.
Oh, it's nothing, really. Honest.
Oh, come on now, Paul. We've talked over lots of problems before and ironed them out, haven't we?
Let's forget it, huh, Dad? I don't want to complain. It's nothing, really.
Mm-hmm, I see. Well, the first opportunity I have, I'll talk to George about letting you in the snake house.
How'd you know, Dad?
Oh, just a dad's understanding, I guess. I was a boy once, you know.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Just one thing, Paul.
Yeah?
Remember, George has big responsibilities, and he takes pride in seeing that they're well taken care of. Stay away from the poisonous snakes. They're dangerous. Morning, George.
Good morning. Got to clean this cage out. If this monkey'd stay away from the broom.
Hello there, Pedro. How's the chief snake keeper's helper this morning?
He's a lot of help. All he does is run off at the mouth and eat bananas. And get into monkey business like most monkeys do, I guess.
I guess that's what monkeys are made for. Hey, Pedro?
Here, Pedro. Don't take on so. Stop that racket.
What's the matter with him, George? He acts like he's afraid of something. Look, the king cobra's out.
No, it can't be. The cage is locked.
Turn around and look, man. That isn't a hose crawling out of that cage door.
Oh, we've got to stop him.
12 long feet of danger slithers slowly out of its cage. King Cobra, deadliest of all poisonous reptiles. Quick as greased lightning, cunning as a fox and ruthless. For a frightening moment, the two men stand paralyzed with awe as the killer moves soundlessly out of the cage onto the service floor. Suddenly, the director springs into action.
George, throw the door locks. Make sure nobody's in the building.
Right away, Chief. The sticks are behind the door.
Get out of here, Pedro, before you get killed. Let's see now. Here are the stakes, poles. Now, Mr. Cobra, we'll see if we can't talk you into going back into your cage.
The building's locked, Thad. I've got a shotgun here.
That's fine. Stay in back of me, George. I'll need plenty of room to maneuver this character.
Let me take the risk, Thad. It's my responsibility.
You just stand ready with a shotgun. If the snake gets me, then it's your job to kill him.
Okay, Chief. He's all yours.
I don't want to lose him unless it's absolutely necessary. He's a valuable specimen.
Watch him, Chief. He sees you now.
I'm watching him, and he's watching me. I'm going to try to get this loop around his neck before he hoods.
Maybe you'll be able to get him before he suspects a scrap.
Is this his eating day?
Yes, he's fed. He should be rather lazy.
Oh, just raise your head up now, big boy, and don't hood out or your goose is cooked.
Now, Thad. He isn't hooding.
I've got him, George.
Good work, Thad.
Get a hold on his body and we'll put him into the cage before I choke him to death.
Right.
Have you got him all in?
Yes, all 12 feet.
Wedge his body down with a pole so I can take the loop off his neck.
Okay, I got him. Take the loop off now.
Let's see. There. Release the pole and we'll slam the cage door.
Now. Oh.
Phew. We were very fortunate this time. That fellow's fast.
Oh.
Half a second more and he'd have piled right out of here again.
You said it, Thad. We better go around and look at him through the glass and see if we heard him, huh?
All right.
Oh.
And then I want to find out how that cage door got unlocked.
I guess he didn't hurt himself. He seems to be all right.
Yes, he's all right, George. You'd better put some sedative in his water supply to cool him down. It isn't good for him to get too excited.
Okay, I'll do that, Thad.
Now, one question. How'd that door get unlocked, George?
Thad, I don't know. It beats me. I always check the cages carefully. You know that.
George, I'm not questioning your integrity. Anybody can make a mistake. I make more of them than anybody else does. But this, well, it's frightful. Just be careful, George. Do you hear?
Thad, I know you think I did it. But there were others in the snake house beside me this morning.
Others? Who, for instance?
Well, Paul.
Are you intimating that Paul left the cobra's cage door open?
I don't know, Thad, but, well, I just worry about the boys making a mistake, that's all. I'm very fond of the boy. Watch him grow up from a baby to a fine lad. But I don't think he should be in the snake house, at least alone.
Well, I think I'm a better judge of that than you, George. He's becoming quite a herpetologist. He won't make any mistakes, I'm sure. Anyway, I've given him specific instructions to stay away from the poisonous reptiles.
Thad, I don't like having anybody in the snake house, even Paul. That is, before and after visiting ours.
Well, now, let's not argue about it, George. Just be sure you give the cobra a sedative. I'll see you later.
Paul!
Hello, George.
Paul, what are you doing in the snake house? I thought I told you I didn't want anybody in here before I arrived in the morning.
My dad says I can come here. I just wanted to exercise my black snake.
You're not going to exercise any snakes until after I get here. And I don't intend to get up at 4 o'clock just so I can be here before you. I suppose you know all about what happened yesterday.
Yeah, my dad told me. Boy, what a close call that was. Sure must have been some job to put that cobra back into its cage, huh?
It wasn't easy. We had to wrestle him around a bit.
I should say, 12 feet is a lot of snake to handle.
Well, I've got work to do. I can't stand here and talk all morning.
Okay, George. I'll put the black snake in its cage in a little while.
You remember what I said about coming in here before I do it. Paul, come here.
What's the matter, George?
Plenty's the matter. How did these cages get unlocked? 3 of them.
3 cages unlocked? How'd that happen?
That's what I'm asking you, Paul. Did you unlock these cages?
Of course not, George. I didn't. I'd tell you if I did.
Well, if you didn't, all right. Just the same, I don't want you in here before I get here in the morning, and that's an order. Do you understand?
Sure, George. If that's the way you want it, I'll put the black snake back and leave right now.
Hey, look, Bill. Here's a king cobra. Well, the card says he's 12 feet long.
That's a lot of snake, isn't it, pal?
Oh, I'll say it is. Hey, look how he moves. Very little effort, too. Boy, what a smooth operation.
Yeah, it sure is. You know, the only critter that isn't afraid of a cobra is mongoose.
Mongoose? The animal's called a mongoose, Stumpy.
Stumpy talk about more than one. Maybe he think they come in flocks like Canadian geese.
Okay, so one of them critters is called a mongoose. When you're talking about a whole bunch, you call them either mongooses or mongeeses. Now, which one of them words do you use?
Oh, Stumpy, are you murdering the king's English?
Take it easy, fellas. Stumpy, the plural for mongoose is mongooses. Don't let these fellas...
Hey, look at the cobra. Look at him.
Great Scott! He's getting out of the cage. Henry, find the keeper.
Here, right away.
Stumpy.
George!
Grey Wolf.
George!
Start herding the people out of the building through the other door. And keep them quiet. I'll guard the service alley so the snake can't get out.
We get people out plenty quick.
Don't take any chances with that there killer, Sonny. If he tries to get out, fill his head full of 45 slugs.
Bill, Henry tells me the cobra's out again. Is that right?
Take a look, George.
Yes, it's a cobra all right, and he's hooding. That means he's feeling ornery. I'll sound the alarm and get some help.
The escape alarm. It's the snake house. Oh, don't tell me another one's gotten out.
Howie, Dick, John, grab shotguns and let's go.
Do you think the cobra's out again, Thad?
Oh, I don't know, Howie.
Let's get in the car, boys, and get there as fast as we can.
George, I wonder how many more times we'll have to put Mr. King Cobra back into his cage.
I certainly hope this is the last escape he makes, Chief.
Yeah, me too.
That's for sure.
It had better be.
I know what you mean, Thad. But I did not leave those doors open. Moreover, Paul was here before I was here this morning again, after I'd forbidden him. I found 3 cages unlocked, and I told Paul I didn't want him in the snake house anymore unless I'm here.
It's your duty and responsibility to see that the cages are all checked and locked before visitors are allowed in the building. Isn't that right?
But I did that, Thad. I always make a security check before opening my doors to visitors. And when I made my routine check this morning, the cages were all locked. And I'll verify before anyone that I'm telling the truth.
All right, George, let's not argue about it. But there's something mighty peculiar going on around here. I wish I could put my finger on what it is.
Bill,
Yeah?
Henry, Stumpy, Grey Wolf,
Let's go over to my office. I want to have a talk with you fellows.
Well, it's the next morning now, and George, the keeper of the snake house, walks briskly to get about his early morning chores of caring for the reptiles. George seems to be in a happier frame of mind than he's been for several days, and he hums as he walks up the short stairs to the main doors of the building. He finds the door locked and congratulates himself that Paul is at last listening to reason. He takes out his keys, selects the right one, fits it into the lock, and opens the door. Suddenly, he stops short.
Oh, the cobra's loose!
He jumps back to escape the cobra. His feet stumble and he falls while the cobra moves rapidly by. There on the concrete steps of the snake house, George lies for a moment stunned, while the cobra, with hardly an effort, makes his getaway. The slithering ribbon of death moves out of the building, across the road, and vanishes into the underbrush. Then George rouses from his unconsciousness, seeking to pierce the mental fog.
Oh, my head. Oh, what happened? Oh, I fell. The cobra. The door's open. The cobra's gone.
Hello, Gate 1.
This is Gate 1, Chief. We're closing the gates now.
Good. Break out your rifles and stand by. The alarm means that whatever's escaped is now out of the building and onto the grounds. Don't let anybody in. Gate 2. This is Thad Pearson. You get that alarm?
Yeah, Chief. We've got the gates locked and the rifles broken out.
Good. I'm going to the snake house. Howie, call the rangers and the sheriff's men. If that cobra's escaped out of the building, we're going to need help.
Right away, Chief.
How's the head feeling now, George?
Mighty tender where I struck it on the stair rail, Bill. That concrete's awfully hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. You better stay here while we track the snake. Thad, how much of a start does the cobra have on us?
Oh, about an hour and a half, Bill.
Not so good. He could get plenty far by this time, especially if he kept in high gear. How about a mongoose, Thad? Do you have any here?
No, Bill, we don't have a mongoose. The zoo at Silver City has one, though.
That's 50 miles. Thad, would you take my car and get that mongoose?
All right, Bill. I'll make it as quickly as I can.
Well, this thing gives me the creeps, Bill. Any second I expect to see the cobra's head pop up under my nose.
It could happen that way, pal. You just stay behind me and keep your shotgun ready.
Snake leaves plenty good trail in ground. It's good for us there not be rain for many days now. Dust help make snake trail easy to find.
That there cobra feller weren't much interested in covering his trail. All he cared about was getting for the faraway places.
That's right, old-timer. I'd say offhand that the faraway place could be that barn over on the other side of the road.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bill. The trail's heading straight for the road.
Yep. Sure as I'm a foot high, that there reptile's in that barn.
We go in barn after Cobra and kill him?
No, Grey Wolf. Let's let the mongoose do that trick. We wouldn't stand a chance against that killer if he caught us off guard. But a mongoose is made for that kind of work.
You said it, sonny. Only one thing faster than a cobra, and that's a mongoose. Only one thing faster than a mongoose, and that's grease lightning.
You fellas keep circling the barn and make sure the cobra stays inside. I'll send the sheriff and his boys over to help you keep him in the barn.
Well, where are you going, Bill?
Back to the snake house to make sure everything's all right.
You never met Pedro before, have you, Bill?
No, I haven't, George.
Talk to the man, Pedro.
He's quite a guy, isn't he? How are you feeling after your fall, George?
Well, that goose egg on my head's gone down to a pigeon size by now. I'll be all right.
Good. Well, I gotta be getting back now. We've got the cobra trapped in an old barn on the other side of the highway. By the way, George, see that the locks on all the doors are set, will you? For a while, I don't think it's enough just to have the latch on.
Okay, Bill. Will do.
See you later, George. Hello, Paul. Your dad back yet?
He just drove up, Bill. Here he comes now. He's got the mongoose in a cage.
We're all set, Bill. All we've got to do now is get on the scene and open the cage. The mongoose will do the rest.
Fine. I'll have the squad cars brought up so their spotlights can be used to light up the inside of the barn.
Good idea. Now remember, I don't want the mongoose to kill our cobra. I just want him to tire him out. Then we'll step in and stop the fight. I've got the equipment for it with me.
Okay. I'll get the cars in position. Then we can get started.
Hurriedly, the way is prepared for the duel between two mortal enemies, King Cobra and Mongoose. Bill turns the spotlight on to illuminate the inside of the barn by beaming the lights through the large center door. Then Thad and Bill walk toward the barn. Thad is ready to release the mongoose in an instant. Bill's ready with his shotgun in case the cobra attacks before they're ready. The mongoose becomes frantic with excitement.
He's got scent of the cobra, Bill.
Good. Let him go, Thad.
Look at him go for the barn.
Hey, he stopped dead.
No wonder. Look where that big snake is, just inside the door. Boy, it's a good thing we didn't try to go in after him. He'd have nailed one of us for sure. Look, the battle's on.
This'll be short. The cobra's on unfamiliar ground. He can't put up a good fight. Did you see that? The cobra missed the little animal only by a fraction of an inch.
That's the way he fights. At close range, a hair's breadth distance. Boy, with perfect coordination.
Wow. The mongoose raked the cobra's neck that time with his teeth. Boy, how that little fella can weave and dodge. Back and forth. Back and forth. Back and... Hey, there. He's teasing the snake.
The cobra got him. No, he didn't. He just missed the mongoose by a hair again.
The cobra's getting woozy, Bill. He must have struck at the mongoose about 24 times by now.
I'll get him when you give the word, Thad.
Well, my main concern is that the mongoose doesn't close in for the fatal bite.
You mean where he grabs the snake by the back of the head and breaks the cobra's neck?
Well, that's it, Henry.
I think we'd better close in now, Thad. Snake's getting pretty tired.
Yes. Let's take both of them. Come on. Now.
Okay. Careful. Watch it. Take it easy. Watch it. Watch it. There we go. Come on. There we are. There we go.
We've got both of them caged and ready to go back. Thanks to you, Bill. And to Stumpy Grey Wolf and Henry.
That's all right, Thad. Say, would you be interested in finding out who's been unlocking the cages in the snake house?
Would I be interested? I should say so. Who is it?
Yeah, who is it?
Well, I'd rather it was demonstrated to you. Just who it is than tell you. Let's all go over to the snake house, shall we? Quiet, Pedro. George, let me have your keys, will you? I want to try an experiment.
Sure, Bill. Here you are.
Thanks.
Now, how in the world is using them keys going to show who let the cage doors open?
Well, quiet, Stumpy. Let Bill finish what he started.
What are you going to do now, Bill?
Yeah, that's a good question. My curiosity is sticking out a mile.
Okay, Pedro. You can go along if you want. Now, fellas, just watch as I go along and check the locks on the cage doors. Uh-oh, there's one on the bottom I didn't check.
Hey, Bill, look above you. Pedro's opening the cage door.
There, my friends, is your mysterious cage opener, sitting right on my shoulders.
Pedro. But how in the world did you discover that, Bill?
Well, Thad, in watching George opening the cages,
I noticed each time how intently interested Pedro was in the way George was handling the latches on the doors. Of course, we all know the disconcerting habit monkeys have in mimicking human beings. So I got an idea and thought I'd test it out. And as you see, it worked.
Well, that throws me for a loop. George, well, please accept my sincere apologies for ever questioning your integrity.
Oh, that's all right, Chief. You're not the only one at fault. Paul.
Yeah?
I want to tell you how sorry I am for misjudging you. Will you forgive a crabby old man like me? Oh, there. There, lad.
I mean, look, they're hugging each other.
I guess this thing had us all on attention. But thanks to you, Bill, and to your rangers, the mess is straightened out.
It's all in the day's work, Thad. By the way, what are you going to do with Pedro now that his monkey shines have been exposed?
Maybe we'd better put him over on Monkey Island and retire him for the rest of his natural life.
Hey, Dad, just think what would have happened if he'd opened the cages in the lion house.
That's right, Paul. Only I don't know that a cobra's any less dangerous than a lion. But at least he's not so loud. However, I'm sure glad that neither George or Paul were guilty of opening up those cage doors. Aren't you? We'll see you next week for more adventure with Ranger Bill!
Hi, fellas and gals. Ranger Bill again, stepping in here for less than a minute to invite all of you out there to another half hour of adventure next week at this special spot on your radio dial. We've gathered a pile of stories for you with mystery and adventure and all kinds of excitement, and we don't want you to miss a single one. So next time, call up your friends or get together with them and join all of us Rangers for a session of fighting forest fires, grappling with grizzly bears, or just plain trying to help somebody out. We're sure you'll enjoy the story, and you might just learn something that'll be of real help to you in later life. So, next week, be sure to listen.